Who am I? You really want to know? My story is not for those who can get heartburn. If a friend of yours told you it was a short little tale about a weirdo nerd stalking a video game reviewer at the behest of an unknown talking voice guy, your friend was right.
Good morning, fool. Did you get enough beauty sleep?
Actually, yes, but that's not what you're here to talk with me about, is it?
How intuitive of you. I'm indeed not here to talk to you about your ridiculous sleeping habits. I have another game for you to play.
Oh, I know this game. I saw some guys Let's Play this once. It looked pretty fun.
And you really are a fool. This game is not fun. At least, it won't be for you. It's incredibly difficult, and not designed for single player. I wonder how long you'll last.
Oh well. Welcome to the full review then.
Every day, you can't hide from me. You gotta pray for the rules, pretty cool. Got an app in the face of the savage street. When your friends and boss look alike on the face of it, they miss the history, but they fight all the place in it. Yeah, they fight all the place in it. Had it other times, they just have the love goes by. I know it's not your fault to say, but there ain't no other way. So step on up to the place. Need to face what can spread on into the light of us. Step on up to the place. 'Cause this ain't no game. It's time to make history,
Spider-Man. Do I really need to explain who Spider-Man is? If you don't know who he is, you're either lying or you need to have a serious talk with your parents about your childhood. This character has been around for nearly 60 years since his creation by Carl Andrews.
Nope.
Steve Ditko and, of course, Stan Lee. He's been through many adventures, fought many iconic villains, and probably has the most popular alternate universe counterparts in all of comic book history, in the forms of Miles Morales and Spider-Gwen. Spider-Man is an integral part of pop culture history, even more so than the Olsens. As for my personal history with the webhead, well, most of my childhood memories are filled with me watching the 90s animated series, which is still great, though it was definitely more campy and over-the-top than I remembered it being, as well as the Raimi trilogy of films, which I heavily recommend to anyone, except for the third movie, unless you want a good laugh. As a teenager, I played a lot of Shattered Dimensions, which was probably my favorite Spider-Man game, well, until Spider-Man for the PS4. This game is fucking amazing. If you've got a PS4, nab it as soon as you can. Needless to say, I'm a huge fan, so I'll gladly play a Spider-Man game for a review, even if it's as hard as my malicious malware friend states. Venom Spider-Man separation anxiety, though. I've seen this game before. Yeah. I want to say it was either in the middle of last year or near the end. I watched a playthrough by the Super Gaming Brothers and thought the game looked pretty fun. Outside of that, however, I didn't remember too much about the game, but I am aware of the storyline it's based on. In that story, Venom was forcibly extracted of 5 of its seeds, for you see, symbiotes reproduce asexually. The extraction was done by an evil group known as the Life Foundation, who bound the 5 newly birthed symbiotes to 5 of their elite officers, resulting in the creation of Riot, Phage, Lasher, Agony, and Scream. Pleasant names those are, eh? Needless to say, this sparks Venom to ask his arch-rival, Spider-Man, to help him stop the Life Foundation's evil plans to end the world, I think. That's essentially the plot of this game, since most of the information you get is in these little blurbs in between each level, and it's usually just describing how the two characters are feeling. Outside of that, the plot is obviously not as fleshed out in here as it is in the comics, but then again, this is an SNES beat-em-up made by Acclaim. Do you have some sort of obsession with this company, Hacker Man?
Well, that was complete coincidence.
Well, okay then.
Well, let's talk about that beat-em-up. Separation anxiety lets you choose to be one of our 2 heroes, that being Venom or Spider-Man. You punch with the X button, jump with the B button, web swing with the Y button, and web and block with the A button. If you think you misheard that last part, you didn't. Your webbing and your blocking are linked to the same button. And yeah, I'd have a complaint on that if I actually felt like blocking was useful in this game to begin with. Let's get this out of the way first. This game is hard. Very hard. It's a 90s beat-em-up, so that's to be expected, yes. But I swear to God, this game is not made with the single player in mind. Many times in this game, you will find yourself up to the fucking gills with mooks of all shapes and sizes. Be it street thugs, Life Foundation soldiers, symbiotes, or even members of another Life Foundation army, the Jury. Now, beating them up isn't too taxing in itself, but you're going to be worn down bit by bit. And that isn't helped by the fact that there are limited lives in this game. You can only get a total of 9 lives in this game, period. And trust me, you're going to lose them within only a few stages because of the overwhelming amount of enemies you're going to inevitably face. Now, there are ways to refill your lives, be it by luck or by accessing one of the many secret rooms that this game has throughout the various stages. Problem with that, however, most of those secret rooms, especially early on, are only accessible by Spider-Man. That means, if you're playing as Venom, you're more or less fucked in the lives department unless you know exactly where in the stage you can get more. Keep in mind though, that won't save you for long, because even if you get past the hordes of enemies, you'll find yourself getting your shit kicked in during some of these boss fights. Now, some of these boss fights are, admittedly, pathetic. I think the one with Scream and this one jury member with the energy blast speak for themselves. But other boss fights are fucking harsh. A good example is Riot, the first symbiote fight you encounter. He constantly dodges your attacks, kicks you in the face from off screen, and is honestly the hardest symbiote encounter besides the final boss. And again, he's the first one you encounter. I lost a lot of lives to this fucking guy. And I mean a lot. Of course, the best strategy I found to beating him was spamming the ever-loving fuck out of the superhero summon. Along with health pickups and extra lives, you can also pick up hero emblems, which allow you to summon various heroes from the Marvel Universe. Be it Captain America, Daredevil, or even Ghost Rider when you press the right shoulder button. When you get these summons, keep them for boss fights. they make them so much easier to deal with. Though they also work great at crowd control when things get a little too congested for your liking. You want my personal suggestion though? Just play the game with the Infinite Lives code. I know, that's a big puss-out thing to say. But unless you're playing multiplayer, I don't see how you can thoroughly enjoy this game without Infinite Lives. This game is simply not designed with the solo player in mind. I'm sure somebody out there can and has already beaten the game without Infinite Lives. And kudos to them. But I have a schedule to follow, and I can't afford to be playing this game for the rest of the year. Let me explain for a bit. I played at least half of this game without Infinite Lives. And one of the biggest problems I have with it, outside of the previously mentioned stuff, is the absolute lack of passwords. You only get passwords every 4 to 6 stages, which might not have been too ridiculous in the 90s. However, we live in the year 2020, and this kind of thing is called bullshit nowadays. Especially considering that getting a game over means starting at the beginning of the game if you haven't unlocked a password yet. Even then, after putting in the Infinite Lives code and getting to the second half of the game, yeah, I don't see how this is supposed to be possible for the average solo player. The final stage literally has you in a 2v1 boss rush, which, in my opinion, is asking a lot. And even before that, there's just a general increase in enemies in the second half. And honestly, without the Infinite Lives code, it felt way too risky to even switch up my general strategy of just spamming the fuck out of the X button because I felt that I'd get hit more often if I changed my strategy. Though that's more of a personal complaint. Don't get me wrong. I don't hate this game. I just think that if you're going to play it, you should either use Infinite Lives or play it in multiplayer. I obviously couldn't play multiplayer given the general state of the world at the moment, but I think that if I did, this would have been a lot more entertaining. Either way, give this game a shot. See if you can prove me wrong and beat it in single player yourself.
How dare you! You didn't beat the game fair and square, you coward!
Who the hell are you and what are you doing in my house?
I'm Spider-Man, and I'm gonna show you your place, you disrespectful putz, you!
Oh god! Ugh! What the fuck? What is this?
That was my ass blast. Now you're gonna taste my rage. Give him my arachnid allies.
Ah! Oh god! Oh god, get him off me! Get him off me! Get him off me! Ah!
Now you'll never criticize another Spider-Man game again. And I can live in peace, knowing that no Spider-Man game will ever be criticized.
I didn't even dislike the game! I just thought it wasn't for single player!
Silence! I don't want to hear your screaming over the pleasant sounds of you screaming!
You know what? Fuck this! Yes? Hello? Police? Ah, so you know of him. Yeah, great. Come pick his ass up.
What did you just do?
I called the police, bitch. You're going to jail. Yes, officer. Yes, he did. He just stood there like that. Like it was scripted or something. Yeah. I don't know what to make of it. Anyways, thank you. Goodbye.
So, you managed to defeat another assassin.
Really? This one was another one of yours? Are you serious? He was nothing like the Olsen twins. He was almost a complete joke.
I guess my assassin idea isn't panning out the way I wanted it to. Oh well. I don't need an assassin for the next game you're going to play. It'll be something familiar. Something you didn't like in the past. I wonder if you'll still find it to be as grating as it was back then. Until next time, fool.
What a dick. Oh well. Back to bed.